joined now by Rod Abrams. He's been the statistician. How long have you been statistician here for, Rod?
Well, I suppose basically about 19 years, I suppose.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 19 and 22 years.
Yeah. And this is obviously you decided to put your pencil away, as it were, then at the end of this season.
Well, it's old age and few illnesses creeping in, you know. So I've got Parkinson's as well. So
okay. So when did it start for you all here at Stratford Town? Don't say you said 19 years ago. Where were they and what were they doing?
Well, just to go back a little bit in history, I actually saw the Stratford play in the 60s.
Right.
Of course, I lived at Shipston, was born at Shipston, and there was nothing on in Shipston. 3 or 4 of us would jump on the bus and come down and watch the town.
Yep.
And that was in the early 60s.
And was that Mason's Road?
Mason's Road, yeah.
Yeah.
Then when the next time I got involved was 1998, 99. Because I was in the fire service for 47 years.
Right.
And went on holiday into Ibiza in 1998. And I had a heart attack in Ibiza. So I was flown back to the UK. I had 6 months off work. Well, during that 6 months off work, my boss, who was lived in Stratford and was a Stratford Town supporter, said, "Oh, why don't you come watch some football?" So he said, "I'll come and pick you up." So the first game he come and picked me up to, and the first game I saw was Stratford we was at Bowlby and St Michael's, and that was the first game I saw. But it wasn't a great day because I think we lost 4-2. So then he started taking me to away games, and he's come and picked me up for home games. And the reason I wasn't going myself was because I couldn't drive until they allowed me to drive following my cardiac problem.
Yeah.
So then I started watching them at home, and then I got permission to drive again, so I was coming over myself to watch them and travelling to some of the away games as well. So and I was at a home game, you know, I got started on all the stat stuff, and I got a bit of paper and a pen one day, and I was just talking to a few people, and I said, and I started jotting them down, the goal shots and attempts and corners and things like that, and just for a matter of interest. Then after a couple of 3 weeks, Craig Hughes spotted me doing this. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just keeping all the stats." He said, "Oh, can you do them like this? Then we'll put them in the programme." So then he started putting them in the programme. So that's how we got going. So that's when it started from. That was in it was either like 1999 or 2000. I can't remember, not sure. Yeah. But that's when I started doing them.
So have you always had a love of stats then?
Well, I suppose I'd had a lot of paperwork when I was in the fire service. Which because one of my roles was I was the fire alarm reduction manager, that was a lot of stats, recording false alarms and all that sort of stuff. So that was a lot of paperwork. So that was it from that. Anyway, over to you.
So you obviously any idea how many games you've actually watched?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I say 50 a season, so.
What's that, 4,500, something like that?
Something like, say 4,000 probably, yeah. It's been a few.
Give us some memories.
Well, memories I liked. The first highlight is when we won the League Cup when we were in the MFA.
Yep.
And we were the first team to defend it and win it 2 years on the trot, and we're the only team to do it. Nobody else can do it because the MFA doesn't exist anymore now. And we beat Causeway United 1-0 at Albury's old ground one year, and then the following year we beat Rushall Olympic in the final. That was at Willenhall. So we won it 2 years on the trot. Then we got promoted to the Southern League, and then obviously we got promoted into the Premier League. And then the highlight, obviously, of course, one of my bucket list things was to get to the first round properly, the FA Cup.
Yep.
So we did that, and even better, we got on the telly and was transmitted live on the TV. So that was a great bonus. and we actually scored a goal on the telly, which some of the teams didn't. Like Banbury, they got beat 5-0. So that's
your foldable off.
Yeah.
So you don't need that soon, though, do you? You
No.
put that in the way. So, players.
Pardon?
Favourite players.
Favourite? No, how can I answer that one? Because we've had some hell of a players at Stratford. You know, Dennis Bailey, who scored a hat-trick at Old Trafford against Manchester United. You know, even just lately, and Adam Rooney, Jack Storer, you know, they're all league players. But if I picked out a player that I've watched at Stratford over the last 20-odd years, he'd be Michael Stevenson, or Steve-O as we called him. And he come from Coventry, and he was the best midfield player I've ever seen. He just so looked comfortable on the ball, and he could pass it with either foot. He created goals, he scored goals, and he could defend as well. But I saw him do tricks now that you see in the Premiership, and he was doing them 20 years ago. He played 190 games for Stratford and scored 68 goals from midfield. You know, that's good. That's good scoring.
You come off some great stats there. Who's our leading scorer? Who's our most appearance player?
The most appearance player is Andy Beach. He used to play at left back. He's got some like 700 appearances. Well, I can't remember the exact figure.
Yep.
But he was the best.
And what about goals? Who's our leading goal scorer?
Who'd be our leading goal scorer? That's a good question.
I mean, this season we're only up to 6, aren't we? As a leading scorer, so that's not a very good season.
One of our leading goal scorers must be Richard Gregory, because he scored 30-odd goals a season. But I'd have to check that one out with you.
Okay.
But Richard Gregory will come up there somewhere. So,
who's been the best manager?
The best manager, well, there's 3 really that I'd pick out as manager. There's Lenny Darby, Carl Adams, and Ian Britton. Lenny Darby was unlucky. He got really close to getting Stratford into the Southern League, but you know he missed out just by 1 game or 1 point or goal difference or something like that. And Carl Adams obviously he won the MFA. Then he got us promoted into the Southern League. We won the playoff against Larkhall Athletic, and then got into the Premiership League. So, and Ian Britton, he was a really good manager. You know, he came from Kidderminster. He was a manager at Kidderminster, but he really did a great job at Stratford. But he didn't have the time and that, so he only did it for about a season and a bit. Yeah. But he was a really good manager. So those are the 3 I'd have as managers.
So today's game, we beat Redditch 2-0.
Well, it was a good team performance. It wasn't spectacular, but you know, it was a good team effort. And I was thinking about when we played them over there, we were 2-0 up with 5 minutes to go and drew to a piece. I think, well, I hope it doesn't happen again tonight. So it was a good team effort. We got some good players.
Yep.
And when they play well, especially when you get Wright and Ebanks up front, they combine quite well together.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we got the base of the team. It's just that, you know, the number of times we conceded 14 goals in the last 5 minutes, which had cost us X number of points.
Yep.
You know, now the defence is getting better, because we've had another clean sheet tonight, so, you know, that's how it goes from there.
Well, the result takes, I think, my maths takes us up to 16th in the table.
Yeah, well, that's a big step to get into the safe thing, because now Bedford got beat tonight, we won. To go past us, they got to win the last 5 games. I can't see them doing that.
No.
So, you know, so now we got to do better than Kings Langley. You know, that's the only one we got to worry about. But there they go. You got the last 2 fixtures, and they play the bottom 2 teams in the league.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's all up and it's all sort of itsy bitsy, and it's a level it all through.
Absolutely. Rod, obviously, I'd like to thank you on behalf of everybody here at Stratford Town for everything that you've done. It's clearly inspirational, and your knowledge of Stratford Town is absolutely immense. So, on behalf of everybody here, thank you very much.
There's one thing I'm going to add to that.
Yeah.
What else did I do at Stratford?
Yeah.
Well, I used to do painting, decorating. I installed a fire alarm, a burglar alarm system. I used to come over every week with the vacuum cleaner, going over the boardroom and the clubhouse out. And also, I was the club football secretary for 7 years.
Right.
And during that 7 years, Stratford Town only got one fine of £10 during the 7 years I did it. And but then they introduced an award for the best secretary of the league, and I won it in 2005 and got a cheque for £500 for the club. And if you look at one of them salvers and the trophies in there, you should find one with my name on as the admin secretary of the year. So I'm quite proud about that bit.
Absolutely brilliant. Rod, on behalf of everybody, thank you very much.
Okay, all the best.
Thank you.
Hope you can make something out of that.